Welcome back to Good Day Columbia. Just about everyone is using plastic at the checkout lanes, especially online. But what are the risks of credit and debit cards over the internet and also at the checkout lanes? Our tech expert, Steven Miano, is here now to talk to us about it. Good morning, Steven.
Good morning.
First off, what's better, credit or debit?
Man, that's a question for the ages. You know, it really is 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You know, with credit cards, you run the risk of overspending. You get the interest charges and things like that, which is a big bummer. But with debit cards, it's coming straight out of your checking account, and then you run the risk of overdrawing your account. Fraud protection is actually a little better with credit cards, ironically. A lot of the, you know, the $50 liability that everybody talks about, a lot of that is actually voluntary for debit cards based on the bank. Now, just about every bank, you know, complies with that.
And why is that? Because I know typically if I get, like, you know, my bank statement or so, like a new ATM, it says, you know, fraud protection on there. So,
and the fraud protection is there, like I said, for pretty much every self-respecting bank is going to do it. But most credit card companies give you more liberal terms in dealing with that. American Express, for example, it's up to 60 days, whereas with a debit card, it's 2 days. So you got to totally keep an eye on your statement. Yeah. And I check mine every day from my smartphone. I'm just like, oh, did anybody steal from me today? You know. So.
Right. And with the holidays approaching, you know, lots of people are going to be waving plastic everywhere, you know, at shops, online, wherever. What are some tips for people that are starting to shop?
Well, this is something big for us as merchants at that computer store. You know, make sure that they're asking for ID. Make sure that you put your PIN in if it's a PIN-based debit. Don't wave your card around. You know, keep an eye on your card and be aware of people around you. A little bit of paranoia goes a long way. Shoulder surfing is a big problem.
What is that all about?
That's people looking over your shoulder and seeing what your PIN is. And now with smartphones, it's even more dangerous because everybody's got a video camera, and it's pretty easy to just you know, pretend like you're texting your buddy or sending a tweet, and you're actually capturing debit and credit cards. And now with these debit card printers that you can actually get for a couple $1,000s, you can actually reprint someone else's debit card. Thieves are doing this and, you know, spreading those out. Because the card doesn't have to be good long, it only has to be good long enough for you to get to the store, buy your illegal stuff, and then get the bad guys to get away.
And speaking of cards, ATM skimming.
That's another big one. There was a bank on Staten Island last year lost over $500,000. Basically, they install a little Mission Impossible style device that reads the card information as you put it in. And these guys were going one step further. They had a camera planted to also catch people's PIN numbers. So they could recreate your card, go in and at their leisure clean out your checking account. So they're doing
whatever that they can to clean you out.
Yes.
And how about shopping via Wi-Fi? Plenty of people doing that.
That's a big, I don't want to say it's a no-no, because I mean I shop over Wi-Fi, but you want to know and trust the wireless network that you're dealing with. You know, we talked on a Tech Talk segment last week about Firesheep, which is a program that lets people steal Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and information like that on an unprotected Wi-Fi, like at a Starbucks or a public Wi-Fi access point. So you've got to watch the security, because it's pretty easy for somebody who's well-versed in technology to basically just snatch that information out of the air and save it for later. And
for quickly, one of the final things, we talked about liability for unauthorized transactions. You know, how much is covered typically?
You know, it's really hard to say. There's not an easy answer. It does depend. Most places limit your liability for $50 if you stay on top of it. And what you want to do is you want to write these people. You don't want to trust a phone call. And I say $50. It really ranges from $50 to $500, again, depending on the kind of card. Is it credit? Is it debit? I've got my eyes right now on the American Express prepaid, because it's like a debit card with all the benefits of credit, liability protection, and stuff like that.
And we can always depend on Steven Miano to give us all the latest on our credit, debit, and gift cards and all that good stuff as well. Thank you so much, Steven.
Thank you for having me.
Straight ahead on your Health Watch, there may be a reason to study hard when you are young. It could mean you'll be more physically fit by the time you reach 40. And check this out, fellas. There's a study that says the lower your IQ is, the larger our waistline may be. That's coming up when Katie McKee joins us on Good Day Columbia.